It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our two special guest speakers, Josh Lannon and Lynn Ackerland. Josh and Lynn were both philosophy majors here at CU in the 1990s, and we're delighted to have them back to share a few thoughts with our newest graduate. Josh is the Senior Director and Product Manager for Workday, a cloud application software provider for HR and finance that's used by thousands of large enterprises around the world. Lynn is the Director of Professional Services at Propipa, a consulting firm where she works with clients to design and build highly specialized applications on the Salesforce platform. Josh and Lynn live here in Boulder with their two children, Sydney and Sienna, who are also here with us.
Welcome 2016 graduates. My name is Josh Lannon.
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn Lannon.
We're really honored to be here today to get to address you. It's amazing to think that just a few years ago, many of you were first taking your steps here at the CU campus, beginning your course of becoming philosophy students. And yet here you are, after all the hard work and experiences of the last years, graduating. It's a great accomplishment. Congratulations. So as was mentioned, it was 20 years ago that we were in the same shoes, graduating with a philosophy degree from CU. And in fact, Lynn and I first met in symbolic logic class, which is an argument of maybe not a proof that logic can lead to love.
So yes, it did lead to, in our case, in marriage and 2 kids who are happy to be out of school right now. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is how our love of philosophy has given us both an incredible foundation to build meaningful careers. Today we have a few insights that we'd like to share with you as you take your next steps following graduation.
So 20 years after graduating, I get to work at a high-tech firm here in Boulder, leading a group of really talented engineers as we build software that influences how people at our customers get their work done. And we get to really rely on a lot of innovation in the areas of mobile, social technologies, and it's a great opportunity that I've been able to achieve.
19 years after graduating, I am the Director of Professional Services at Propipa. We're a Boulder-based consulting firm that specializes in building applications on Salesforce.com. Our apps are built to help people manage their work, and actually you might be familiar with them as we have, CU is one of our clients, and we built a student success app to schedule time with your student advisors. But I lead a team of about 40 people, and I'm responsible for helping them grow and create consulting. So for the graduates of the CU Philosophy Department, what advice do we have to offer you after 20 years in the business world? Many of you, as well as your parents, may be wondering what's next on your journey. How applicable are your studies of free will, human existence, and logic in your chosen career?
So for people in other majors, it's a clear progression, right? If you're an accounting major, you're probably going to become an accountant. But if you're a philosophy major, the choices that you have in front of you may not be as straightforward. However, we really see this as exciting and believe that your skills in critical thinking, analytics, and abstraction have very much prepared you for an enormous breadth of opportunity. Students of philosophy are a very rare, uniquely talented set of individuals, people who we believe are more than poised to be very successful in the 21st century workforce. When I was researching this, I found a really interesting study by Data USA of philosophy majors and how successful they were some years after graduation. And it might surprise some people to learn that of the 38 courses of study that were investigated, philosophy majors ranked 14th in terms of the income that they were making after school. I'll leave it to you to decide the relationship between income and happiness. At the very least, this should help reassure some of your supporters and parents in the audience that you should be doing well in the future. But looking deeper at the study was really interesting because where do philosophy majors go? Well, about 7% of philosophy majors go into law. About 7% of philosophy majors go and become post-secondary teachers. 2% of you are likely to become physicians or surgeons. In total, that amounts to just 16% of where people go with their careers, which means that philosophy majors, you're all bound to go into lots of different areas with your profession moving forward. And if you just considered our study group from symbolic logic class, we have graduates in business, software, government, and even people who are professional musicians.
We got a great study group. As Josh and I look back on our experiences, we have 3 insights that may help you start to explore the vast world of opportunities. First, consider your degree a platform from which you launch into continuous learning. Your graduation today truly starts a new chapter of education. I explicitly credit my experiences here at CU for giving me the tools I still use for knowledge expansion within my work. As a consultant, I'm always learning about different lines of business with each new client project. To learn efficiently, I use the Socratic method to inquire how others do their work. Ultimately, I need to understand what they do in order to build a software application that meets their explicit requirements. In fact, I literally map out their business processes using techniques I learned in symbolic logic. If, then, and, or, not. If this foundation of analytics and my confidence in using the dialectics that is totally essential to building quality software. I had no idea when I graduated how practical this would be. If you engage in your career pursuits with a mindset of constantly expanding your knowledge, you will find that things that satisfy you as a student are present and equally satisfying in your day-to-day application. Practically speaking, don't be nervous about jumping in to learn a new skill set. For me, a technical domain was way outside my wheelhouse when I graduated. I barely knew what email was. It was 1996. But when I jumped in my first job out of college, I was a data analyst. I found I had an aptitude for technology and an aptitude for learning this new industry. And it was that same aptitude that propelled me through my university experience. Honestly, you may be a couple years behind a business or an IS major in terms of these tactical skills, but you are poised to go way beyond with your foundation of learning and analysis.
So where will you head next? Our second insight is that ultimately authenticity with one's endeavors matters greatly to achievement. Simply put, if you find something that you love to do and put yourself into it, you will become an expert in that domain. So start by pursuing things that still intellectually stimulate you. And the one insight I have too is that consider areas with future growth potential and focus on mastery of the specialization over any immediate gain. I guarantee that most of you, as was mentioned earlier, didn't pick philosophy because you thought you'd be graduating and earning a big income. I certainly didn't. The gut instinct to pursue your authentic interest is critical to having a successful and fulfilling career in the long term. So my advice is to find an opportunity in an area where you're at a company that's growing, you're in a region that's thriving, you're in a business that's going someplace or a nonprofit that's growing someplace. For us coming out of school in the mid-90s, the internet and telecom boom was happening and Boulder was at the center of it. I taught myself some basic web skills. I really wanted to create a website where you could go and get a random Nietzsche aphorism each time. So I built that and a mountain biking trail guide, very Boulder kind of interest. And that allowed me to get my foot in the door at a technology company and just be a part of what was happening. And being part of that growth environment influenced me with the people I met, the opportunities that came in new areas for me. And so what this does require sacrifice. You've been working hard at school, but when you jump into a new career, if you're starting without a lot of skills, it will require long commutes, work hours. We spent weeks on end traveling from time to time. At least a few times we headed to DIA together to head off in different areas of the country for work.
In blizzards.
Very much Colorado. Yet we remain challenged and stimulated by our work, which opened up new opportunities. So whether at a small company or a large non-government organization, I guarantee you when people are in growth mode, there will be all kinds of opportunities to learn and move laterally into new roles. So when you're looking at your next career, look way beyond just like the job opportunity postings that you see on the board and the roles and responsibilities. Some manager thinks that they're going to want you to fulfill to help them out. Look at that place of opportunity. What is the company behind that? Where are they going? Is it a thriving place? Because I guarantee you're going to move forward after you land with all the intellect and power that you have. And you want to be at that right place and time to seize that moment. Of course, there'll be new skills to learn, not all of which this fine institution may have taught you. For example, mastery of PowerPoint. It's true, business people speak and make arguments in bullet lists. And can you only imagine if you had to put together your honors thesis for the professors here in PowerPoint and we're worrying about what font to use or what subtle animated transition to use? No, neither can I. Yet all of you have learned how to be great communicators, how to make arguments, communicate ideas, take strong positions and defend them. So whatever new ways you learn to communicate, all of those skills are going to come in handy.
The third insight is to be true to your ideals and infuse the rigor of philosophy into your work. This year, you and your peers wrote honors theses about topics including moral justification of drone strikes, the potentially negative effects of organized charities, and the impacts of the underrepresentation of women in our legislative processes. It is clear that the class of 2016 places a high value on morality, ethics, justice, and authenticity in the context of these changing times. In every form of occupation, from the business world to the nonprofit, we need people who think about the ethics of what they do, who think about fair policies, and who can authentically lead organizations to perform good, meaningful work. I personally have found deep satisfaction in using my technical skills for efforts that lead to the greater good of our community. This includes projects like the one I mentioned earlier for CU to enable student success here. We've also built applications for the state of Colorado to manage grants for our roads, quality ratings for our preschools, and caseloads for human services. As a leader in my company, I work hard to recommend policies that are just, that help people with not only their careers but their life balance as well. Being a woman in a profession that is predominantly male makes this especially important to me as I seek to promote equality, opportunity, and mentorship of other women. I work hard to infuse philosophical rigor into our workplace on a daily basis. And I believe it to be true that if you embrace your ethics, your principles of justice, and act authentically, you will set a strong foundation for meaningful work, and also over time become some of the strongest leaders around.
So now you've graduated and are spending time thinking about your future. You're all smart, intelligent, unique individuals, and there's an array of opportunity awaiting you. Look at today and think about how you can make contributions going forward.
So see today as the start to your continuous learning. Dive deep into all the different angles within a domain that you find incredibly interesting. Embrace the philosophical values that you hold close now, because they are so important as you grow into the future. Our community, our businesses, our politics, our arts need you as thought leaders to create and contribute to our world.
Thank you.